Hi, everyone. I'm with Stephen and Mark here, and we're going to talk about their views on the next 5 to 10 years on American real estate and why European investors should consider having an exposure, both from the currency point of view as well as to the sector as a whole. Mark.
Thank you, Ashish. So the underlying opportunities present when we started Urbanite Capital still very much exist in the market today, and we think will persist for the next many years to come, especially the next 5, maybe 10 years. And namely, one of the underlying opportunities was after the global financial crisis, banks had to pull back their leverage in the senior loans that they could lend to certain real estate projects and assets. That opened the door to a lot of private market lending and a big Urbanite opportunity, apart from our access to deals, relationships with sponsors and developers and others that gave us a lot of options for investment opportunities. Those same conditions we think will persist. We're seeing them. There's no talk about changes to bank lending policies and allowing banks to become more aggressive. And so there will still be a need for private capital to fill that hole and lack of lending ability for banks on many opportunities that we're seeing. Apart from that, what's going on a macro basis with higher real estate valuations, inflation in the United States, a lot of investors are turning to real estate as an inflation hedge, as a real tangible asset investment, so that you're not owning paper currencies, you're not owning operating businesses focused on inputs that require higher costs as inflation is occurring. And so we're seeing a lot of attraction to our product in that regard. I would say a majority of our investors are overseas investors. They're also looking to us for US real estate exposure to diversify their assets abroad. A lot of times their businesses and employment are located outside of the United States. And while the United States has its own problems and issues, a lot of investors and experts view the United States as one of the safest environments in the world to invest in. And so I think, again, against that backdrop and those parameters and opportunities, that's what we're seeing for the next 5 to 10 years in the attractiveness of our funds.
Yeah, we are, I would say, very bullish about real estate in the United States over the next 5, 6, 7 years. We think the demand has become terrific. We think that the needs are ever growing because there is never in housing, for example, the demand far exceeds the supply. Prices are not going down. Prices are maintaining or going up because real estate is becoming as a hard asset in an inflationary time. It's a very good asset. And I think the other thing that is playing is that as we go forward and examine and investigate opportunities and vet opportunities, the importance of the quality of the sponsors, the location of the projects, the experience, the expertise, the financial solvency, and the operational ability of the builder, developer, sponsor is becoming critical in a process, and therefore there is no substitute in that regard for examination and vetting, due diligence, and above all, the expertise the experience of the sponsor and the location of the project. So we are very excited and looking forward with great anticipation that there's going to be a lot of opportunities for good, quality, safe, and secure real estate investment in the United States in the next 5 to 6 years, and certainly on the West Coast, which is got Silicon Valley, Seattle, San Francisco, Los Angeles. You've got really core cities, core areas in this country that are really the center of much of the population, and certainly vibrant, challenging, growth orientated. So there are many areas that we feel are ripe for the correct and appropriate investments going forward over the next 5 to 10 years.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your views. I think that was excellent.